Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? How you doing? How you been? What's going on? What's good? On the give it in. Somebody's getting for you. What's good, people? Woo! What's good, people? It is a day of another day of another day we call Saturday. Anyway, that being said, what's good, people? It is officially Saturday once again. It feels like it just was Saturday just a few minutes ago. Now it's Saturday again a few minutes ago. Anyway, that being said, what's good, people? Wishy-washy and stuff like that. I still got this black hair in, and I'm ready to take it out. I haven't taken it out yet, as of yet, but want to, but I haven't done it yet. But it is what it is. Anyway, that being said, I was on YouTube and I was checking out Kurt Franklin. If you go on Google Kurt Franklin, this guy right here. If you want to Google him on The Breakfast Club, you should see this real extraordinary interview that he gave. And the thing about it is that, I don't know if you know him, but I'm just give you a rough draft real quick of who he is. He is a gospel singer. Now, the thing about it with him is that I did not know, we all have our trials and tribulations in reference to so much that we go through in life. So like I always said before, we really don't know each person, struggle and the things that they go through within the life that they live in. So, let me see something. Okay. Sorry. So we really don't know the struggles that they go through in their life that they live in and stuff like that. And the thing about it is that, came to find out that he was adopted. His mother and him don't have a relationship. And the man that his mother, I think boyfriend or husband or kids maybe, was like jumping on Kurt. He was like, you need to go see your mother, stuff like that. But Kurt was like, well, she got rid of me, so she should be coming to see me. And it's sad because he spoke so much truth. It's sad because when we go to church, and a lot of times the preacher talk down to you. You're a sinner, you're going to hell. And the thing about it is that he who has not sinned cast the first stone, which makes that a lot of people are not going to church, and a lot of people is going to church to try to get a profit to get to that money, but they're not really out to save souls. They have to save their bank accounts. Anyway, that's that. So he was apologizing in reference to, how the church has let the gay people down. Listen, go check out The Breakfast Club on YouTube and check it out with Kurt. Put The Breakfast Club, Kurt Franklin, and you'll see this whole story. It is extraordinary. I'm a new fan of his. I can relate to anybody who's in my struggle, and I'm sure you can too, versus somebody who really don't get it, versus the ones who get it, especially the mirror image of me, the ones that's like me, or the people who is different, because y'all get it too. But this is the thing I want to talk about. What happens, off subject, okay. This is the thing I want to talk about. What happens when you meet a guy? Yes, mother. I hate, this is a shirt, but anyway, what happens when you meet a guy and he's younger than you? And a lot of times when you talk to younger guys and stuff like that, they're always like, oh, you don't want me because I'm young, or they'll say, you sure you want to be with somebody young like me? And to me that's like a turn off, because I feel like this, if you're a confident person in who you are, it shouldn't matter how old you are, but how you present yourself when you present yourself to me. Now, if you feel as though you're too young to try to talk to me, then you should be talking to me. But if you're the kind of person who's confident enough to walk up to me before I say no, take a chance. Anyway, that being said, so the thing about it is that you meet a guy, they're very young, than you, about 10 years, and the thing about it is that you have this great conversation. He's like really different than any other guy you've ever talked to. He's a lot of fun. He playful, because mother loves the crazy boys. Well, you know what I mean when I say crazy. Crazy like in fun, not crazy like in bitch when I get you home and kill you crazy, but crazy as some fun. So the thing about it is that, okay, babe, we've been talking for, I'm just gonna spit it out. We've been talking for a little while and stuff like that. Back up, see, I spill my own tea. Anyway, we've been talking back and forth in reference to, you know, a lot of things, and you know, he's really funny. He doesn't talk about sex, which is hilarious, but I guess he's a little smarter than most, like the older guys who hit me up and blah, blah. Anyway, so the thing about it is that we've been talking back and forth and stuff like that. He's really cool and he's funny, and you know, he's not black, because for some reason black people do not like me. Only for some reason, the only people who seem to like me is Spanish, Indian, Dominican. Well, not in Haiti, but what's the Africans? Well, not Africans, but it's a different type. Jamaicans. That's, well, you know, it is what it is. You got a few white people, but they kind of like, with the black people with me, they kind of just shush me away and stuff like that. You know, and Italian men, well, anyway, they're good at. So the thing about it, back on subject, anyway, the thing about it is they're young, they like to have fun, they're like energetic, got those energy, you know. But the thing about it is always that, you know, you don't expect someone to be perfect. But when you are an older doll like myself, you know, it's kind of hard to deal with the young guy without becoming the mother figure as far as being the nurturer. You know, as being myself, I am a nurturing person. A lot of girls like me are. And some people are not, you know. It doesn't have to be a girl, it doesn't have to be a guy. Because if you're a nurturer, you are a nurturer. A nurturer is someone who kind of like, here boy, I put you something to eat, here, you know, here baby, I'm coming. You kind of treat the person like a baby versus the relationship as your mate. You know, because you're looking at this person that's very young. For me, not for all girls, because some girls are freak on, they don't listen to a man and a roommate. But to me, when you are a nurturer, it's kind of hard to look at the person and say, that's my man, versus look at the little young man that's in my house with me. Trying to get mother's cookies. Anyway, so the thing about it is that, you know, you're talking to him and stuff like that, and then, you know, you go back and forth, and then he says that fabulous thing that freaks you out, the one pet peeve that you don't like. This is how you become a mother. Do you smoke weed? And you go, no. Well, what do you do? What's your device? I have a glass of wine sometimes, but mostly you know, I drink a lot of coffee, I drink a lot of tea, and, you know, I don't do that. He said, well, I smoke weed. I like to get high. I do 420, I do kush. He was naming some shit. I was going, oh. And, you know, as they start explaining all the things that they do, you start going, oh. Oh. Now, in your mind, you're saying, this person is very funny, they make me laugh, but in the back of your mind, it's like, I don't know if I can deal with this, because I don't want that weed smell in my hair, and I don't want to send you outside, so I have to smell it, because the cops be waiting for your ass and you get locked up. So I have to allow you to smoke the weed in my house, which means that, 9 times out of 10, if you are living in a building, stuff like that, the weed smell travels. And as some people say, well, you could use a fan, but weed smells travels. Okay, now if you're living in a building, stuff like that, and a person that's coming to see you smoking weed in your house, and then somebody at the super or somebody send the cops to your house, that shit could get you in trouble. Now your ass is on the street because he wants to smoke a little weed. You know, but I know a lot of times we're living in 2015, people are weed lawyers. They go back and forth and say, oh, the weed come from the weed, you're supposed to smoke it. A lot of things comes from the ground you ain't supposed to smoke. Corpses are in the ground, so y'all digging up dead bodies trying to wrap them up in a blunt and smoke it. But anyway, that being said, how do you feel, and this is for the people who don't do that, you know, and I'm not knocking if you smoke weed, if you do drugs, whatever you do, that's your business, has nothing to do with me. Listen, do you? But I want to know if you're the kind of person who do not like weed, or even someone who does narcotics, because a lot of times people who do drugs don't really feel like they change once they do drugs. They like, oh, I remain the same. They really don't. Because when they start telling this story, oh, I was high as hell. So how was you staying the same if you was high? So I want to know, would you date someone who likes to do drugs and get high versus you do not like to do that type of stuff? Or is that a deal breaker for you? I want to know how you feel about that. You know, versus a young person, you know, like the drugs, stuff like that. And, you know, some people may say, well, you know, I don't mind it. But a lot of times, if you're older doll, and, you know, not saying even older, even a person that's not your life, Can you accept that person for being who they are? And I'm not saying somebody has to be 100% perfect, but can you allow this thing that you hate the most lay next to you in the bed and try to deal with it for the sake of love? And every time they line it up, you're like, oh God,
Anyway, that being said,
again. I want to say hello, all new people. Boom. I want to say, oh people fam. And I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I want you to do you. I want you to do your best with it. You can. And if nobody like it, then fuck them for it.